Good morning, everybody. Mark Finan here in the home weather office on this Tuesday morning. Now, the 19th day of August, 2025, and this is the morning briefing. Looking out the window, not a cloud to be found. Not much stirring either. Yesterday there was more of a breeze here, but today the trees are rather still, so not much onshore breeze, and today begins a warming trend. We had a nice comfortable day yesterday with highs generally staying in the upper 80s in the valley. But today, a little bit warmer, and that's going to be the trend over the next few days. And by the time we get to the end of the week, we'll be seeing temperatures at or above 100 degrees. More on that here in just a minute. But look at this view this morning. For August, this is just terrific. Really not much in the way of marine layer this morning. It's another indication that we are going to see a warmer day. There is some marine layer in Southern California, but through the Bay Area down toward Monterey and Salinas, nothing. But the other thing I'll point out here is that there's no smoke. Mid-August, quite often at this time of year, we'll have some fires going on somewhere that'll fill the valley or the skies generally with smoke. We don't have any of that going on. There are some fires burning here in northern Nevada, bringing smoke into Idaho, but boy, California so far, we've had some fires, and if you look at the fire acreage numbers, they are above average, but man, we are doing quite well. All right, I'm going to take a look at some temperatures here. So this is the way Sacramento has gone over the last 24 hours. Let me move this up just a little bit. There we go. So yesterday started off in the low 60s, went up to 88 this morning, down around 60 degrees, a nice cool morning, and then we're going to see another warm up to temperatures surpassing 90 degrees today. Let's take a look at a couple of other spots. Let's pick out Placerville. This is one of those things that I like to point out, that the graph for the foothills is much flatter than what you see down on the valley floor because of the inversion. So, for instance, yesterday morning, the Placerville Airport started off in the upper 60s. This morning dropped down to the mid 60s. We started in the upper 60s, but then only went to 81. So you have much less difference between the morning low and the daytime high. And compare that again to Sacramento. Let's see, let's go to Executive Airport. And so again, you can see that this graph is much steeper. So you have a much bigger difference between the morning and the afternoon. But in the foothills, the temperatures stay more or less steady. Let's take a look at Auburn. Same sort of thing. Yesterday started off in the mid to upper 60s, went into the low 80s, and this morning is running cooler. So you'll find that throughout the foothills. And, it must be interesting for grape growers to see this sort of and other agricultural areas to see these overnight lows and the daytime highs stay so close. This is at the Nevada County Airport, starting off in the upper 60s, but then only going into the upper 70s. So really, yesterday, only about a 10-degree swing between the morning and the afternoon. A really flat graph. Really, really interesting how the valley cools off quite a bit more than the foothills, but then the valley gets quite a bit warmer than the foothills do in the afternoon. Let's go over to this. No, not that one. Let's see. Where is the one I was looking at? Oh, I know. I got rid of it. That's what I did. All right, so bear with me. Let me see if I can get back to this because I want to do this is what I'm going to do. So in case you want to look up any historical information, you're going to just follow along with me. On the NWS page, there's this now data. So I'm on to now data, and then let's go to Sacramento area, and we'll go to monthly summarized data. Option 3 is the year range. Let's go back to 1990. Bear with me because I'm actually going to answer a question that came in yesterday, which is great. The variable I want to do is max temperature, and let's go to daily maximum, but I want to do the number of days, and we're going to do number of days over 90. And then let's go to that. And then now here it is, but I'm going to go to the annual. I click on annual, And so since 1990, the year we had the fewest was 1998. We only had 48 days over 90 degrees. 1999, we only had 53. Then look down to the other end of the spectrum. Back in 2020, we had 113. And again, this is at Executive Airport. So the question that came in yesterday from Hog Wild Bowhunter said something about, do these mild summers have trends on the following winter months for mainly precipitation? And that's a great question. And we, when I was working in television, used to get this sort of question all the time about, does summer influence how the fall may be, an early onset of the fall, or how the winter may be? The bottom line here is that you really can't predict one season based on the previous season. So let's go to 1998, this first one right up here. We only had 48 days in the year that were over 90 at Executive Airport. That year, the total rainfall, so for the 98-99 season, the total rainfall in Sacramento downtown came in at 15.27, slightly below average. Let's look at 1999 when we had 53 days. That year was above average at 23.74, and 1995 had 61 days, and that year was around average at about 21. So we had, for these 3 years, we had a below, an above, and an average. All right, let's go to the other end of the spectrum. Let's go to 2020, 113 days. That year, the 2021 season was super dry. We only had 7.87 inches of rain. The next on this list is 2022 at 96 days. That year was well above average, 26.62. And then in 1996, the other year on here at 95 days, that came in at 17.75. So again, you have a below average, you have an average, and you have a well above average. So the bottom line here is that, again, we get this question all the time, but there really isn't any connection between what's happening right now and what's going to happen 5 or 6 months from right now. But again, it's a good question, and we get it all the time. I appreciate the fact that people think along those lines, but the bottom line is that there really is no connection from one to the other. All right, before I get back to our local weather, let me give you the latest on Hurricane Erin, making lots of headlines. It's weaker today, this morning. Lots of shear got involved here. 105 mile an hour winds, moving northwest at 9, and it's starting to make more of that turn. And there are tropical storm warnings here along the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and there are tidal influences here, but it still looks as though this is going to stay well off the coast. And here's how it looks on the satellite this morning. The eye has filled in quite a bit, obscured by more cloud cover. And on this side of the storm, you can see this is much less symmetrical. Let me move this over a little bit. So you can see this side looks nice and symmetrical here. But this side, a combination of some dry air and a little bit of shear are starting to take its toll, which is why the storm went from a Cat 4 down to a Cat 2. It'll continue to wobble, and in terms of intensity here over the next 48 hours. But again, the track is going to continue to take this to the north. And as I mentioned yesterday, really having a big benefit here of being the perfect kind of storm, perfect kind of hurricane. The fact that it is helping to dissipate the Atlantic energy, the tropical energy, and shift it farther to the north. A big storm without any direct impact to land. Yes, we have rain showers here and gusty winds and tides in the Bahamas, and we'll have gusty winds along the Outer Banks of North Carolina and some higher tides, but we will not see a landfalling eye, which of course is good. All right, back to our weather. Again, clear skies today, and we are going to be seeing some warmer days ahead. Did I not? Man, I thought I had all of this geared up as I usually do. Oh, here's the other thing I wanted to show you. I was looking at the tabs that I have open. I'm gonna get back to the hurricane for a second. I apologize. So this is a cool site. So I just did a Google search for marine vessel traffic in the Atlantic and came up with this. So all of these are ships, and there's Florida. Here's the Outer Banks, Cuba, Hispaniola, Puerto Rico down here. So as you can see, there's where the storm is, the hurricane is, and as you can see, the ships are avoiding this quite nicely. I thought that was kind of interesting that this area is totally void of ships at this time, and they're all going on the around it. But yeah, this is a cool site. Like I said, I just did a Google search for that, showing that we are going to be seeing, the mariners are well aware of this, of what's going on out there, and are steering well away from that storm. All right. And let's see, let's see how I can, let me do it this way. You don't have to see all of my Google searches going on here. Let me just do this, because I thought I had the GFS, but I did not. Don't know where my brain is this morning. All right. We can go back to that. Okay, so this morning we still have this deep low out in here, which is nice. We have the high that's farther to the east, which is good. And all of that makes for a warm day, but nothing too hot. It still looks as though we are going to see temperatures by Thursday get close to 100. And if we don't hit 100 on Thursday, which is this day here, we will by Friday. But the question here is going to be how much moisture gets entrained in here. So you look at the flow here, and we're going to continue to see the monsoon flow come up our way. And it looks as though by the weekend, we are going to see afternoon showers and thunderstorms in the Sierra. Classic monsoon here. But how much cloud cover is there going to be over the valley? And what sort of impact will that have on temperatures? That is going to continue to be the trick for this week in forecasting just how hot it's going to be Friday and into the weekend. Right now, I would say at least something around 102 for the valley, with afternoon showers and thunderstorms in the Sierra. If you get some cloud cover, even though we'll have cloud cover, it doesn't necessarily mean we won't hit 100 degrees. It just may make the difference between going to, let's say, 106 and 101. I do remember one year, August in the 90s, we had a string of 4 days. 3 of them were 110. One of them wasn't 110 because we had cloud cover. It was only like 107 or something like that. So we certainly can still be above 100 degrees even with monsoonal moisture in the area. And it also may help to increase dew points as well. So it may start to feel a little bit muggy. Again, that's going to be the trick for Friday and for the weekend, is how much cloud cover are we going to see because of the monsoon. Right now, the NAM and the GFS are not agreeing on that. The NAM doesn't have a really good handle on that. And so I'll show you more on that during the day tomorrow when we get a better view of Friday and the weekend from the NAM. And I'll show you the NAM and the GFS for the amount of moisture we're going to see. But in the meantime, that's everything I've got for you this morning. Sorry, I'm a little scrambled this morning. Don't know why. Thought I had everything set up the way I wanted to, but I didn't. Thanks for bearing with me. And again, a proof that this is never edited. It's just what it is. So, nice day today. Get out and enjoy it. Make it a great day. I'll talk with you later.